What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Fantasy Sports Now. Today we're doing Fantasy Week 6 streamers and two-star pitchers for your league. We got to knock this out, guys. It's Mother's Day. We got to get stuff done. So we're just going to jump right into the content like we always do. And if you like that, then hit the subscribe button. Before we jump into Week 6, we got to talk a little bit about Week 5. I just got to show that I'm not just throwing names out there and hoping stuff sticks, okay? Last week we had a huge week with streamers. And go ahead and pause if you want. It might be hard to see. Zoom in on this sucker. Give me a pause and just check it out. I'm not going through each one of these names. A couple guys I'm proud of is Wainwright, man. Again, dominant. Flexen had a really good start, even though he gave up, 4 earned and 10 hits. If you're in a category league, that's maybe not great, but a win is huge. Even taking high risks like Shoemaker down here, coming kind of out of nowhere. We had him in there 5 innings with a dub and 5 Ks. Stuff like that's what we really were looking for. So for the majority, we've had success again this week, though we could not expect the same success that we had last week. Last week was absolutely insane. And a few guys that we did not have success with, we got to put these out there because we can't just present successes. We have to learn from failures as well. And I've learned twice now here. Aaron Sanchez, I barely changed anything. All I changed was his stats. He was on last week's. Mike Minor was the exact same way. Now, Mike Minor didn't have a horrible start. He had 7 Ks, so you got something back from that. But man, both Aaron Sanchez and Mike Minor kind of screwed me twice here. So that, I got to keep that in mind as I go forward, that they have not been successful in these streaming opportunities. So that's enough about Week 5. Let's jump into Week 6. That's what we're here for. That's what we want to do. But again, I like to show that we're having success. The way I like to do this is every single day, I like to pick out a streamer or two, a couple guys, and then at the very end, I'll kind of point out some of the two-star guys. A lot of times the two-star guys are guys that I actually like to stream. These are people that are rostered under 50% of leagues, so they should be available. I mean, look at Monday. 7% roster is the highest guy, so these guys are going to be out there. And, Monday has been my skip day, mostly because there's not a whole lot of games lately on Mondays. And I feel like every Monday I take Martin Perez, and if I'm not skipping, I'm taking Martin Perez on Monday here yet again. Has not been that bad, but he's at Baltimore. At Baltimore, it's not a great park to be at, but going against Baltimore is always a recipe for a potential win, especially with Boston the way they're hitting. So I don't mind this start. I think I might make that move in my league and grab Martin Perez right out of the gate early. Even though, again, he's not great, we're looking for wins. We're looking for non-blow-ups here, right? Tuesday, Robbie Ray is interesting. I'm surprised that he is still only owned in 39% of the leagues. So I don't really love his start necessarily at Atlanta against Max Fried here, but I feel like he really should be owned in more leagues because he really is pitching well. And not only that, his walks are way down. So just want to throw that out there. I'm not picking him for this week necessarily, but he might be worth an ad in your guys' league here. Jordan Montgomery is one of my 2 picks for Tuesday. At Tampa Bay is kind of a hit and miss, but what I love about going against Tampa Bay is they strike out so much. I mean, Sean Manaea went against them last week here, and he almost threw a no-hitter. Yeah, that's one thing, but he also had like 7 or 8 Ks, and this is Sean Manaea. He does not strike out a whole lot of guys. So that's what I like about Montgomery. He'll get the run support with New York, hopefully, and so I really like the K potential there. The other name I have here is Brady Singer. I've had him a few times on my list because they play Detroit a lot. I'm from Detroit, and I kind of pick on Detroit a little bit, and that's fair. I think that us from Detroit think that that's fair. We know that's fair. This is a very winnable game. Matthew Boyd is a very roller coastery style kind of guy. He's rather going to be on and he's going to do well, or he's going to be awful and just brutal. Last year was brutal, Matt Boyd, and it was really hard to watch. So, I really love that. It's funny they have Otani on here. He's definitely owned in more than 50% of leagues. So that's kind of silly that they do that. Jeff Hoffman is a guy that I actually have my 2 start. I guess I'll save him for later. You'll get a better example of that. So anyway, Singer and Montgomery are my Tuesday picks. Moving on to Wednesday here, I am going with. Walker's not bad here. Again, Baltimore against Matt Harvey. Matt Harvey, all of a sudden, having a little bit of a resurgence. Just being able to stay in the major leagues to me is an absolute shock. And congratulations to him. However, we're going to pick on him here. I think the Mets just sweep through this game, even though the Mets are a bit of a wild card usually when they play. I got to love that matchup right there. I mean, that just looks too good to me. Zach Davies is my other pick, though he has not been great, as we can see. assuming he actually gets this spot. At Cleveland is never a bad thing. Cleveland's offense is not what it used to be. And, I know a lot of pitching. I know more prospect pitching than I should. I don't know who this is. So going against a guy who I don't even know who he is, I think Zach Davies kind of flips the boat here, turns it around, whatever you want to say, gets that ERA down, and pulls out a win here. So I'm looking for Davies here on Wednesday as well. There's a couple good other ones in here, like John Gant, at Milwaukee, but he's going against Woodruff, so I don't really like that, stuff like that. So that's where the success is in here. Like Gomber had a good start, but he's going against Snell, San Diego. I don't really like that so much. Anyway, let's keep going. So for Thursday, I got down Garrett Richards, who again he's been decent, And the reason I have Richards, going against Oakland, they've kind of been hot, they've been kind of been not. Right now they're kind of in the middle, but I talked about Sean Manaea almost throwing a no hitter. I always try to target guys after they've just thrown an amazing game, meaning Sean Manaea just about threw a no-hitter, threw quite a bit more pitches than he's used to, had a lot of success. A lot of times those guys, the next game, they don't get shelled, but they just don't pitch well. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they can kind of keep that streak going, keep that blood juicing. Manaea didn't throw that many pitches, but he did go outside of his normal means. So I think that Manaea might struggle in this game against a Boston team that's proven that they can continue to hit. So I don't necessarily like Richards so much as I like the matchup. So that's my pick Thursday. I also have Meryl Kelly, who's been good in the past in Miami. I like that start. I think that's kind of a sneaky one. I think Kelly can get it going here, and this is kind of a good spot, a good place for him to potentially do that. So we will see what he does there. Moving on to Friday. Before we get into the actual picks, I don't necessarily like Griffin Canning's matchup here at Boston, though Nick Pivetta has proven to not be that great this year so far. He's been getting roughed up a bit. But, here he is here. The ERA is not bad. He's pulling a lot of wins because Boston, man, they're just electric. And that's why I don't like Canning here, so this is not my pick. However, I got to say, Griffin Canning seems like he's heating up. Two back-to-back really nice starts. You can kind of see the innings and Ks here. He's starting to pick up the Ks, and he's starting to pull that ERA down, and this guy's got a lot of potential. He might be the next guy that teams are starting to pick up. So if you see this, you read this, you watch this, remember this, maybe watch this next start, and if he continues to trend upwards, you might want to add him before he kind of gets starting to get taken in a lot of these leagues. We're going back here, though, with our Pick Friday with Flexen. Love the name. It's great. Don't love this necessarily, but again, going to Cleveland, that's all right. I like that. He's looked pretty good, and for a streamer, this is what I'm taking. But there's not actually a lot that I like here. Normally I'd say, okay, maybe Tampa Bay, but going against Glass now, I don't like that. There's not a lot of great looking starts here. Trevor Williams at Detroit, normally I'd say that's great, but Trevor Williams has not looked good at all. And I don't think he has gone 5 since this whole year. He hasn't gone 5 innings this entire year. Carlos Martinez really kind of let me down a little bit this week. He did end up getting a win, but he's at San Diego against Musgrove. So I just don't like that. So Friday is almost a skip day for me. If I'm picking anybody, I'm going here with Flexen. Saturday, trying to get this going here. Domingo German, obviously, I like this start. I mean, at Baltimore, we're picking on Baltimore. We always seem to pick on a team. This week it's Baltimore, I guess. He pitched well. Was that today or yesterday? Oh, man, I'm blanking right here. It might have been today. I watched the game, and I can't even remember if it was today or yesterday. Anyway, he looked good. Maybe flipping that corner here. The Yankees are starting to play better, and at Baltimore, I like that. Creamer hasn't looked great, so I'm really liking this start. I'm digging that one. And the other one we can't really forget here, I'm surprised that he's only owned in 45% of leagues. Johnny Cueto's back. I'm guessing a lot of people have dropped him, and he's back, and he's going to be pitching against Pittsburgh. Mitch Keller's a good pitcher, but it's at Pittsburgh. I mean, come on. So for me, this is almost, I don't want to say slam dunk, because once I say it's a slam dunk, he's going to go out there and bomb. He might not go a whole lot of innings, but I think he's going to rack up some Ks, and I think he's going to look decent. He's going to look back to form a little bit. But I doubt he'll go super deep in the game, but I still love that matchup. I think everything you need for a good matchup is there. Sunday, they don't actually have on here because a lot of the teams don't have their starters announced, but I kind of went and did my own looking here, and Jordan Montgomery's the guy. We're picking, again at Baltimore. Montgomery is actually a good segue into my two start guys. It's see, here's what I'm talking about. It's not official yet, but odds are, it's going to be Montgomery. So Montgomery at Tampa Bay or at home against Tampa Bay, and then Baltimore. I like that as a two-start option. A lot of Ks here, and then a potential win here with the Yankees. So I really like that. I also had Luke Weaver of all people. Miami, Washington. It's not great, but if I have to start somebody, this might be my fourth option out of the four. But if I had to go with two-start guys, I was in a league where you had no limit on people, but it was a weekly league, so you wanted to max out those starts. So I don't mind these two for Luke Weaver. I also have Jeff Hoffman as kind of a flyer here. He's here going against Pittsburgh, and then he's going against Colorado. I mean, you can't really pick two better teams to go up against, though Colorado looked a little bit better last week, and that's fine. They're still not going to win a whole lot of ball games, and there's not any fixing that. The last name I had on here was Brady Singer. We already talked about him being in Detroit. This matchup's obviously not as good with Chicago, but this one almost makes up for it. And again, if I was in a league where I have to, or I'm not limited by the amount of starts here, and I'm in a weekly league, Brady Singer, you know what? I'm throwing him in there. All right, guys, that's the picks for this week. Hope you enjoyed. Happy Mother's Day and all that fun stuff. Hope you're still doing well in your fantasy leagues. Hit me up. Let me know how it's going, and we will see you next time.